Ready? Good evening, it's Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, March 26th. This is the Board of Assessment Appeals. It's 6:21 p.m. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise. Okay, Tony.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and let the record show that Carol Langman is joining by phone at the moment. All the other members are here.
Nice painting. Oh, nice.
All righty.
Had a hole in it for years.
This meeting is to approve the following minutes.
Right in his jacket.
Okay.
It was like good. It was the size of a dime. 60.
Ready?
I'm sorry, yes. What was it, 6:21 we started?
6:21 we started,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, we're going to approve the following minutes. Thursday, February 22nd. Does anybody have any questions, additions, changes, issues with those minutes? No?
No.
All in favor of accepting the minutes?
My hand is raised.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Aye.
Thank you. Next set of minutes is Tuesday, March 5th. All AM hearings, morning hearings, that was. Everyone had a chance to review them? And if there's no changes, additions, questions, problems, I will make a motion that we accept the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next. Am I going too fast, Kathleen?
Nope, you're good.
Wednesday, March 6th, AM hearings. Since no one's saying anything, I will make a motion that we will accept the minutes as posted.
Yes, the top is messed up. I'm going to fix that.
Okay,
The loop did weird, but anyway.
okay.
Something happened.
All in favor? It's unanimous.
Aye.
Unanimous. Wednesday, March 6th, PM hearings. I make a motion to accept the minutes as posted.
March, which ones did you say?
I March 6th,
Yep.
PM hearing.
Yep, I put the wrong one away. Okay.
Make a
Yep.
motion to accept as posted. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Wednesday, March 13th, PM hearings. PM, you can't see it, meeting.
Yeah, we canceled the morning one that week.
Okay,
We were
so that
done
was
with
the
our
night
hearings.
one.
It was
Okay.
night one. We had a few hearings, right,
Yep.
I think, and then we had deliberations.
I make a motion that we accept those minutes as posted. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous. Thursday, March 14th, PM meeting. Anyone have anything to say about those?
Nope.
Make a motion that we accept those minutes as posted. All in favor?
Aye. I think those were the ones you
Aye.
helped me with, right? I had
Yeah, I think those are the
listed
ones.
or
Yeah, we
something
fixed
on
it,
one
yeah.
set that we fixed. Okay.
Okay, unanimous.
Yep.
Tuesday, March 19th, meeting. No one with any comments?
Nope.
Nope.
Make a motion that we accept those minutes as posted. All in favor?
Aye.
Yo, Carol.
Yep.
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. And I think that's it for the minutes.
Yep, as far as
No
I
other
know,
minutes.
nobody,
Okay.
I have the town clerk caught one agenda that I had put February on, maybe tonight.
I saw that too, but then I immediately saw, I was gonna call you, and then I looked at my email again, and I saw that there was a new one, so I didn't call.
Yeah, she caught it
Yeah.
before I posted it, so, or before they put it online.
Okay,
So
the next
that
item.
won't affect anything. No, good, we're
The
good.
next item is to transact any other pertinent business brought before the board. Does anyone have anything to bring before the board?
I wanted to bring up our automobile hearings for September.
Yes.
I know we talked about a potentially different process for that, or,
do we want to try to schedule them? Can we find out whether, I feel like we get behind the 8 ball with those. They come, they got their cars, we have no background information, their paperwork is still downstairs, we're running back and forth, and I don't feel like it was efficient. And I also don't feel like we were almost ready to make decisions, but I really prefer not to make 2 nights out of it if we don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just have you have a discussion about how we might, how might we move forward to make those
Why don't we
work
do it?
better?
Why haven't we done it?
I
like we've
think,
done the other ones?
this came up once before, a while ago, and something was said, I don't wanna name names, said on this quote, but I thought it was Ross saying something about, well, they don't have to. But I never saw in the statutes when I read them that they can't, or that they don't have to. It just says, the board will meet once in September, at least once in September for automobile hearings. That's all I saw. I didn't see anything that said we couldn't ask them to schedule a meeting. So I don't see why we shouldn't ask them to schedule a meeting. It's probably difficult. What's the matter?
I will say,
Okay. It's probably difficult for Ross, because that's gonna be extra work for us.
To have them scheduled.
Well, yeah, because somebody has to schedule. Now, I don't see why I could probably schedule them, since I'm not doing a full schedule at work. And there's not that many of them. There's like, what, a handful?
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, but when have we ever had more than maybe 10, 12? I mean, I can make 12 appointments. I don't wanna make 50 appointments, but I could schedule, and then I could just give them a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like this year we had more than I've ever seen before.
Yeah, and I'd rather do that than do it the way we're doing it. I agree that it's a inefficient system, and
Yeah, the only problem I see is that,
it looks like we don't know what we're doing. It's all over the place.
yeah, the only problem I see is that we talk to them, then we go down in the parking lot. And then if we haven't heard their appeal yet, then they're giving their entire spiel while other people are just waiting for us to look at their car because they were upstairs before. So that's why we just have to think about how to make that process work, whether it's like, look, you're gonna be here for an hour, you're gonna give your testimony at 6 o'clock, we're gonna walk downstairs and look at any cars in the parking lot, once everybody's done, and then we just, because right now they said,
Oh, you mean look at all the cars outside?
well, we just don't know, but often they want us to, right, we go take a look, but, I mean, I don't even hold our hearings in the parking lot, I don't
Right.
feel
I always thought about that, doing it outside, because September's a nice month, but you can't really.
You never know. It could be raining.
You never know. But, yeah, you're right. And,
some people don't care, or they don't bring their cars.
Well, if we're gonna schedule meetings, we can tell that, like we have the instructions for real estate, instructions for automobiles. Bring your car, unless it's a classic that's being
Well,
stored.
yeah, or unless we don't really care, I mean.
Or ask them, will you be bringing your car?
Will you bring your car?
Will
Yeah, no, we
you-
don't have to.
Will you be bringing your car so that we can see it? Because then we need to know how much time to schedule for that.
Yeah, or else, look, we just start scheduling at 5 o'clock or 4, whatever, every 10 minutes is, I mean, if they can't tell their story about
Let's
the
be able to
car
tell
in
their
10
story in 10
minutes,
minutes.
it needs to be fast, like, there's no reason.
There's no, yeah.
I
It's not
got
gonna be a
too
big
much
discussion
mileage,
about
or
that.
I got a bunch of dents and it's.
But then if we know that the car is there and we will be looking at the car.
If
we
you like
could
your
give it
car.
another 5 minutes or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
let's go
just say,
down
if you intend on bringing your car, just know you're gonna be here till 6 o'clock, because we're not going down to the parking lot until all the hearings are over to look at your car. And then if we only have 5, then we go downstairs, so they know they have to wait an hour if they want us to physically inspect the car. And maybe that
Yeah,
will
that's fair.
force them to give us pictures, and if they
Yeah.
know that they've got a bunch of stuff, because otherwise you end up having the same conversation in the parking lot for another 15, and everybody else, all the other appellants are out there while we're walking around, right? We take a trip to the parking lot, so.
What do you think, Peter? Got any ideas?
I don't know.
No, I mean, I really feel like it should be like, if you want your car looked at, then get here at this time, we go look at all of them, we can give them, like you got 5 minutes to tell us, here, and then, we can go back up and if they have anything additional to add. But, you're right, like, I mean, we were, going down and, coming back up.
Some people were showing late, so they were
Yeah.
showing up downstairs, we didn't have their paperwork, we hadn't seen who they were, we didn't know, oh, here, I'm here, yeah, here's my car, and then they had to start from
I just feel bad that we should ask them to wait to stay an hour. I just don't know
Right,
that they're gonna be prepared to do that.
Right.
You wanna go up and down for every car?
I don't
Well,
know
what
about
I'm
the
saying,
car,
if we ask them if they're going to bring the car, then we'll know, all right, we have 10 appeals, we have 3 people that will bring the car. We can schedule those right up front.
Yeah,
the first three.
Should we find out what other towns are doing?
well, I could ask my
We
friend
have some
Mary,
time to figure it out. We don't
Right,
have to-
don't you have someone in the,
yeah, in Groton,
I don't
I just talked to her the other day, she's
know.
really,
I mean, if we're gonna schedule them,
yeah. Yeah, you know what, I
lump
can
all
give
the
her,
ones
I can
together
give her a
that
call
will
tomorrow.
have the car.
No, tomorrow's a weekday, yeah, I can give her a call
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I would just be curious, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, there's gotta be somebody doing this right.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And she's very good, she's one of the writers for the handbook, so that's why I like to use her, 'cause she's fair, but she goes, she knows what's in that book, so she references it.
Are things are
Yeah.
they changing the
The
system or
book
not
has,
this
no,
year?
we're not changing, by the way, we're not changing, the state has not required the change in the system. The state
Okay.
was gonna come up with a different system, it was all screwed up, Ross didn't think it would be ready for
And
this
it's
year,
not
and
ready.
it's not, no,
Okay.
it's not ready. So, all right,
I
I
mean,
can give
so-
Mary a call, we have plenty of time,
Mhm.
to make a decision,
Yeah,
how to do it.
and downstairs, what was it that we were running down for them to print out? Remember, there were certain things that Ken was
What is it
pulling
that-
at the last minute.
Yeah, what was it that
We
they
didn't have a
don't
copy of
come with?
any of the paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they could all be pulled in advance and put in the, just like the real estate appeal is, it's all online.
yeah, it just would be helpful.
That would be really
Honestly,
nice,
they're calling
yeah.
him and then, when is it gonna be?
Yeah, 'cause
And he knows that they're coming.
Yeah, because that one that we did, the one we did just recently, with the real estate appeals, that was much easier, because the paper, everything was, it was an easy one anyway, but,
Yeah, it's much easier if we have the paperwork ahead of time, and then also, there was some number, I don't know if they ran there was something he would go in the computer and do, or, I don't know, mileage it was more than the mileage calculations, there was something he had to go downstairs to do on the computer, and maybe it was to print out their bill or something like that, because we didn't have a copy of their bill, right?
Yeah, there was
They
some-
didn't
yeah, we
bring
had a
it.
copy of the bill.
Do they have a cutoff, date to, put their appeal in?
Well,
So
no,
that it'll
by
give,
statute, I don't think so.
no, they don't have, because they could just
For
come.
real estate, we do.
Yeah.
could we do it? Are we allowed to do that? So
Good
that gives the office time to
I'll ask
get the
Mary. Mary will
paperwork
know. She
online
knows
so
what
that
to
we
know.
can see it
Yeah.
and be prepared.
Now, she'll know, because she knows those statutes, and how I know, I'll tell you, after I don't wanna stop, I don't wanna switch conversations, so I wanna finish this first very thing.
Yeah, so copy of I'm just trying to think, what are some of the pieces that we feel like we're not getting that we need? It's copies of the bill,
Bill, I
right? So
wrote
we
that
know what
down.
the assessed value is, because we always get confused with that. Copies of the paperwork, because we don't get that ahead of time. We don't even know who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, the vehicle, make and model, all that, and they know that downstairs. And when people check in, they could print it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, since
Worst
it's not a state statute, if somebody came in the day after the deadline, we still have to take it, but at least for their, operational purposes and being able to process all the paperwork, get it online and get us to see it, maybe a week before that,
Yeah. Maybe we
15
could
days
go-
or whatever.
Maybe,
And you're
yeah.
gonna get people past the date, but
Yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
okay.
We won't
Yeah.
penalize them and,
Okay, yeah, we can, we don't.
you know, we can't,
penalize them for that.
but at least it gives them a head start to get all the information online. We know we're gonna have
Yeah.
Teslas this year.
I'm pretty sure we will again.
No, well, this is, we said, they have to
Yeah,
come
we're
back this year.
Because
Oh, is
they,
this the year?
yeah, because they got that big drop in
Yeah,
value.
and it wasn't, the timing was off.
Huge.
Oh, so well, it'd be good to know ahead of time. Did the,
we had those who were good.
let's look up a couple Teslas and see what happened with them, because
Yeah,
if
with
they
dealers,
dropped a
too.
lot, they're probably not gonna come in. If they didn't, then we need to kinda have, it's good to know ahead of time
The
what
ones that came in last
happened.
year, they dropped a lot, but the
Wasn't it like
timing,
from 50,000 to
but the
26,000,
timing was
one of
off,
them
we
was,
said
yeah.
you can't.
Timing was off.
The timing was
Right,
off, yeah,
and we
but it was a
said,
huge
you gotta come
drop.
back next year, that's what we
It's
Yeah,
said.
almost
or
been
else
half, I
the
don't
state
remember.
recognized it
Right.
and the book reflects it, in which case then they're not gonna worry, cause their values will be down. If the book didn't, right, if the
Right.
state didn't catch it yet,
Well,
or
that'll be
whatever.
interesting.
They
Yeah.
should be valuing them,
Right.
not just, And I think a lot of cars may come down that were up,
Yeah, I
just
think so.
because of,
Yeah.
right, the COVID
Right.
bump is kind of
Yeah,
over in the
it's pretty
used
much
car,
over.
in the used car sales market was.
When you start seeing car dealers like BMW, Mercedes, people like that, doing deals, like looking to get out of your lease early, well, why would you wanna get me out of my lease early? That kind of thing, come in and, well, BMW is doing something right now where they're taking a lot off the car, that the payments look really enticing. That's why it's a super car.
Excuse me, what floor are you guys on?
First
First.
floor of the new building. Come in either door. So, yeah, so I think we're gonna see that, yep. Okay,
All right,
any more
so
about
you wanna
that?
talk to Ross about
Yeah, I
that,
can-
or
I
how
can
do you
talk to
wanna,
Ross. Well, let me
what do
call
we need
Mary.
to do for homework?
I wanna
Okay.
call Mary first.
You're gonna
and
call
see what she's
Mary.
got to say. She's got any
Okay.
ideas and stuff.
And then Ross, you know,
And then we can talk to Ross.
yeah, process changes, you know, sometimes takes a bit to get what you know, because they're just used to doing it
Yeah,
one way,
yeah.
so it has to be very, communicated that this is like,
So Carol
we're
must be
serious
here,
about this.
so we'll wait for her to, yep. Here she comes, they can hear, right here.
Hello.
Sorry.
That's okay, did you bring, if you brought cookies, you don't have to be sorry.
Good thing you brought cookies.
Yeah, you don't have to be sorry if you didn't bring cookies, because I didn't bring dinner.
Another estate, and there was a lot of emotion and tears, and
Oh.
I got caught talking, making them feel better.
Thin Mint, how about that?
My
That's
favorite.
very nice.
Oh.
Thank you, very nice, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
love these, I'm gonna keep, I love.
When is Girl Scouts and Government Day? You remember?
Yeah.
Hey,
But
what do
this
we-
is where they all I mean,
Yeah.
for years,
Oh,
this
cool.
is where they always gathered, and all the department heads would take their, you know, we'd call out their name one by one, and the department head would take their 2 or 3 students
Oh, really?
with them
Oh,
for the
yeah.
day. Oh, it was so cute. I mean, they probably stopped it during COVID, but it was for like years and years. And they'd have lunch at Penfield, and
Cool.
they were cute. Get to ride in the tractors, and DPW was always the most requested, because they got to go out with the tree warden and stuff. Who wanted to go in the first selectman's office and
Nobody wants to
go
go
to
there.
meetings, or the health inspectors would take them in.
Oh, let's go to the health inspector.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else,
All right.
Kathleen? That was one thing you wanted to talk about, anything else? Peter?
You have something else?
No, I'm
So-
good for now.
All right,
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
just
the
gonna,
first
I'm gonna preface this by just saying my intent is not to make this contentious or
Okay.
anything like that, right? But I just think it's really imperative that we are disclosing any kind of relationships we have, you know, with any of the appellants that are coming before us, right? I'm just gonna say the example that I, you know, like, kind of like, you know, hit my ear, put it this way, is that you were talking about, like, the map that you got from one of the appellants, I can't remember which property it was, and then, you know, that you were gonna be dropping it back off at her house.
Oh, I picked it up, yeah.
You know, so, anyway, I just think we need to, you know, be disclosing any kind of relationships that we have, you
Okay.
know, with appellants, you know, any, you know, email communications with them that's not through the BAA, you know, system, then I think we should do that. The other thing I'm a little uncomfortable with too is just, the, you know, giving of values to appellants when they come in and say, oh, you know, that's, you know, maybe you should make your, you know, value this, or, you know, people printing out, you know, comps for them, or finding comps for appellants. I mean, that is their job when they come to appeal. That is their job. And, so again, I'm just not that comfortable, with that. And then just, you know, this is my understanding, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but just from some comments that, I remember, is that, you know, if there was a session that was held by, you know, some of you, about, with other realtors talking about the BAA process, and if that, you know, was
I
happening.
mean, like that thing that we did
Oh,
for the
through
realtors?
the Fairfield Board of Realtors?
Realtors?
I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like that is kind of a conflict of interest. I mean, I'm not really sure, you know, why that would be happening, like, what would the purpose of holding a session like that with realtors?
Would you feel, comfortable with it if it included the entire board? Is that something that would be, because I feel like.
So every, just so he knows, like, every month we have, like, we have different boards and different town hall people visit. So like the, building department has come, the superintendent has come,
Yeah.
the police
Johnny
department has
came,
come, I don't know who else is on. So they came to us and asked
Yeah.
us.
Well,
I think we probably should have had the assessor included on one day, and
have the
maybe.
He was there one day. Yeah, he was
And
there,
the
there was a whole
Ross,
panel.
the public
Oh,
works,
okay, I
the
Yeah,
missed that.
he
Mark
was
Barnhart was there, all those
Yeah,
people were there.
Yeah.
I just didn't want you to think that it,
But I
he
will
came out
say,
of the
like,
blue.
as realtors, I get calls all the time from other realtors asking me, how does the process work? I mean, after all these years, I'm telling you, even realtors don't know how it works, and they ask us constantly, how do I what do I tell my clients? Or my clients called and asked me this, and we explained the process to them all over again. The day we did that, they were so appreciative, and they were like, whoa, I had no idea. I mean, people are just, even realtors are clueless about how the process works.
And they get asked by their clients.
Yeah, I mean, I could understand that, you know, us having the entire board there, and that you make a good point. That would have been something we could have done, but it just so happened that we three were realtors, so they asked us to do it. But, you know, we felt like any way that we can promote or just explain how the process works, you know, it helps us help them help their clients, because people are constantly asking about, you know, appeals and taxes and how do I change this, and I think I'm too high, and it happens all the time.
But they think they're too high, but then then we explain what's going on, and then they understand. I feel like I was wondering, like, are we gonna have more appeals because now we've educated realtor? I don't think one
I had a realtor
came.
in January, February, asked me,
they're
and
fine.
I looked and I said, I don't think you have a case. You can try it, but I don't think you do. I said, you know, I think you're already paying, you know, it was for her own property. And then she did not appeal it.
Most of that particular
I don't
session,
think we had anyone.
when I spoke first, and I had the boring part. I spoke all about the state statutes. Every other word was, they would ask a question, and, the state statute says this. So I spent all my time talking about the state statute.
Yeah, we broke it down into 3 different
It wasn't like, this is how you win your appeal. It was, you know, people, because homeowners ask the realtors to pull comps. And so,
all
the time. I mean, how do they get them if somebody doesn't help them? They don't do it, especially the old people. They don't do it themselves. So you tell them how to do it. This is how you do it. These are the statutes. Pull comps based on this time period. You gotta keep stressing that time period, because they don't get that either. It's basically no more than you would tell somebody who came in here with the wrong information. You say, well, go back and pull comps and.
And clearly we've seen by evidence of what they've shown us that they're working with a realtor.
Yeah.
You know, and usually it's the realtor that sells them the house.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I said, well, you know a realtor, we'll call them and ask them to pull your comps, because if you obviously knew how to do it, I wouldn't have to tell you to go get other comps.
Or they hire an appraiser.
Or they hire an appraiser, so.
Yeah.
And as far as like relationships, if I had disclosed everybody in town that I've known for the last 60 years being here, we would have hours of me disclosing people. I would disclose anything that meant that it would be a conflict of interest for me to make a decision. That woman with the map, I don't know her. I had one dealing with her where she took a picture of us for our website. That's it. I didn't even remember who she was when she came in the room. She said, I took your picture. I didn't even remember that was her. But we picked up her map because we needed it. And she was gonna drop it off. I said, I'll take it, I'm on my way, I'll go get it. Just grab it and go. And that's all I did. I never even went in the house. I just took the map. And I wanted to go to the property, because that's the one where the trees were cut down. So I wanted to go there. I had contacted her because I wanted to see the property, which is part of the right of the board. And that's how I ended up with that map. So I don't have a relationship with her. I had no relationship with any of the people that came.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Charlotte from Burr School, from elementary school.
Yeah,
Back in the day.
I knew Felicia Watson because she's a lawyer, but I don't do business with her. I don't refer clients to her.
Used to, and
I used to.
back when now she's back in business again, but she stopped doing it for a long time, so.
All right, well, I'm just saying.
Realtors who come, I mean,
Sure,
Elise,
sure.
we all knew Elise last
attorneys,
year, an attorney.
I just wanted to, I'm not trying to be contentious. I just want to
We
say
know
that,
the
like,
appraisers.
if I had known her in a relationship of some kind,
Mhm.
an ongoing relationship, or a past one that had been more frequent, I would have said, well, maybe I better not vote. But that's not the case with her. And let's see.
I mean, it's tricky for you guys, because you're in the business of what people are bringing, you're in the home selling business, and people are bringing their homes before us. So there's gonna be this natural, piece where your work is integrated into what you do here. So it's tricky to know, for you guys, you may not see it as a conflict. Someone else may look at it and say, hey, wait a second, you know, and because she's doing this, now she's, the potential for getting a sale when they go to sell their house, or people can, I'm just saying, people can see that part of it too, so it's.
Like, I would not, like, if there was a client, past or, well, present. If there was ever a client that I worked with, I would never be
Yeah.
a part of it.
I
I would be
the only
too
time
don't think
I
I've ever had.
I got involved, but I wasn't on the board then. It was when I stopped being on the board because I started working with Denise and we had those long hours and I couldn't keep, so there was 4 years where I didn't do it. And that was the year that the client that I had sold the house to, the year before, I came to the board to do his appeal with him, but I was not on the board.
Mm.
And then I went to court with him, but I wasn't on the board.
Before I was on the board, I represented a client, yeah, I did the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Got denied.
And I think
I
maybe,
did too. Wasn't too happy.
I mean, maybe that, we shouldn't be communicating with them through our own emails either. And, and you guys do have your work signatures, some of you have your work signatures on your emails too. So, it just,
Yeah.
again, it creates
You mean
that-
with the appellants?
Yeah, with the appellants. I think that it should be done through the assessor's office. I think anything they email should come to BAA, and if they're dropping off papers or things need to be picked up or whatever, that, we can use the assessor's office to go do those kinds of things. I think we do have the right to go inspect a property. I think if we're gonna go, we should let other people know, hey, look, I called, whatever, I had the assessor's office call, or I called this client, I'm going out to see them, if anybody wants to come with, whatever it's gonna be. So I just feel like we're on, it's one thing to drive by a property, it's another thing to look it up in MLS, but I think if we're, interacting on our own with the clients, I just think, I know that the zoning
Yeah,
commission
no,
can't do
I
that.
think,
So I just
yeah,
think
that's a good point.
keeps everything kind of,
That's valid.
Yeah. I think
a
that's
little
legitimate.
bit more of that. And now we have a BAA email, everybody sees it, the assessor's office gets a copy of it. So anybody wants to FOI anything, we don't have to worry that someone's gonna come after our cell phone, or they're gonna come out, for you guys, come after your work accounts. I mean, if you're communicating about work, this stuff,
Yeah.
they can take your cell phone and go through all your emails.
They're welcome to it.
redacted it. I'm just saying,
Take it.
in
Go see if you
general,
can do anything out of it.
recommend
There's nothing
that
in
for
there.
most boards, that you don't use your work email for any town business just because it's FOIable. Nothing we do is,
That's a good
private,
point.
is executive session. So I don't ever use my work email when I'm just because I wouldn't
No, I
want the
really don't.
university,
I don't use my work email.
opened
No,
up.
I don't want, I don't
Could I
use
email
the
some from the
email. I don't even
university,
use it.
right? Then a lawyer or FOI, I mean, they're busy across the hall. They're hiring more people to do all their FOI requests because people are just looking for all kinds of information. So who's to say something happens, that we don't expect, and then someone says, well, wait a second, why'd that person get a break on that? I want to see all the communication with that person and who was communicating with them, and I want to see all the emails and I want to see everything, and they'll go for your phone. I mean, that's where it goes. So I just feel like it's safer if we have the appellant say, look, BAA is where you send it, and if you have additional listings,
Okay, we'll send
let's
everything.
not print them out for them, like, I don't know if Melody Lane, if someone in your office printed it or you printed it for her, but I just think she should be, calling a broker and getting listings. I don't think we should be, I don't know where she got her MLS
She
listings,
emailed them to me, I don't know where she got them.
but how did you print them out?
She emailed, remember I said I couldn't get them, I tried, so I just printed them out. How did I print them out?
I know, the print date was
I
like
printed-
11 o'clock, the day that we were
Yeah, how did
deliberating.
I know what I did. She sent them to my email, so I just printed them at home from my computer, my printer. How was I gonna do it?
But you went into MLS and pulled them out.
No, she sent me an email with the prompts. I pulled the email that she sent.
How did she get all those calls? You don't know. Okay.
I think I still have her email. It said
It's fine,
something
because
about
your email
attached
was
to the.
dated on the 11th, I know,
Attached to
and
the
the
thing.
date of the print date on the
I gotta say that I've
was
never,
the 13th,
I
so
got-
2 days after she
I
emailed
gotta say, I'm
you.
starting to think like maybe I need an attorney.
No.
Seriously, it's like,
I'm just
I've
saying,
never seen a group that doesn't, it's a trust issue for me. I don't see what the big deal is. If you guys can't trust that, let's see, that I didn't have a relationship, that none of us had a relationship with Charlotte before,
no, I
well,
don't
that's what
think
it is. That's really what it's like.
No, it's not
Yes,
about.
it is. It's about trust.
It's about ethics, and it's about a potential conflict.
Ethics. You're talking to me about ethics.
Ethics,
Here's where we're gonna have a
potential,
problem.
a potential conflict, you're right, not ethics.
Ethics and conflict of interest, like you never had that, that you
conflict
didn't,
of
that you got away with it, that nobody else does, you got away with it.
But we're talking
No,
about,
we're talking about ethics and conflict of interest. Did you think it was ethical for you to sit through your whole appeal and participate in it? I'm going here, because
I
it's part
should
of
have
the deal.
excused myself.
And you didn't, and now you're telling
No
me
one
about
asked me to
ethics, so
leave, and I should.
pardon me if I think it's a little bit tainted.
Conflict of interest is where I'm going, and that's where I feel like we just need to be careful, that's all. And just as a whole group, we need to be careful. There is so much people asking for everything everywhere, right? All of our meetings are recorded, things are, I mean,
We're not gonna be doing that too much longer, but that's okay.
But, you know,
public.
I mean,
It's a public meeting. It's a
If you email
public
the
process.
accounts on the 11th and Paul printed it out the 13th, it doesn't
I
mean
mean, what's the
that,
difference when it,
I don't see
I don't know, I just
where
think it's difficult.
proof
I
that
think it's
Paul
hard.
had told them. I don't know why we're
Somebody
going
went
there.
into MLS because the name on the bottom of the date on the bottom of the MLS is the 13th, the day of the hearings at 11 o'clock. That's when the 27
When was
pages
that?
of listing were printed.
what's
Her
the-
email was dated 2 days before, and it was pretty obvious, because you look at it and.
But when you print it out, it's the date that.
No, but if
printed
she had, someone else had printed them on the 11th for her and given them to her, they would have been dated on the 11th. They didn't come out of the printer until the 13th. That's all I'm saying. I wasn't the only one who noticed. I mean, someone else noticed it too.
Who else noticed it?
Just saying. It's public information. Stuff is out there. So, all I'm saying is, I don't think we should be, we should be printing MLS listings for clients or appellants. I just don't. I think we need to be really careful about, we can't do something for one person that we can't do for the other 20,000 property owners. And if we were here holding their hands and printing MLS listings for them.
we
and
can't do that
advising
for
them.
everybody.
So I
agree
just
with
think
that.
we have to be really careful
Yeah.
about what we say and and how far we go to help them. In quiet years like this, it's not a big deal, but we're gonna get slammed in 2 years. And if we set that precedent of this is, we're helping them, I just think we can say, these are the 3 things you need to do. You can call a realtor and ask a realtor for some help, and then you can bring your papers to the assessor's office and they will scan them in and give them to us. Or you can scan them in yourself and email them to BAA. But I think when we start to get in the line of assisting them, I just think it's not a good idea. And I've had people ask me before too,
Yeah, no,
I agree with that.
and
I
I'm just
agree with
like,
that. I don't have a problem
I don't
with
even
that.
wanna tell you
I don't have a problem with that.
whether I think you're gonna have a case or not. These are the 5 things I suggest you go home and look at, online. These are the things that we look at as a board, and I think you should go home and look at these things. And if you have a question on how to read your card, please call the assessor's office, that's what they're there for.
I have no problem with not helping them. I'm okay
I
with
just
that.
think it gets a little bit tricky.
I'm okay with that. I'm not arguing about that.
Yeah.
I will say, though, that I have, I do disagree with the thing about if the realtors wanna have a meeting with the other realtors in their monthly meeting, and they wanna talk about the Board of Assessment appeals, that's up to us. We don't need the whole board there.
I just think you maybe should have let us know.
Why? We were having a monthly meeting of our board.
Well, I mean,
When
truthfully,
the police
this is
come,
where-
do you think every policeman knows that they're coming?
I don't know, I'm just saying,
Well, listen,
you're a
listen.
quorum of the board, like,
This is kind of how, this is
you're
kind
with
of
a
how
quorum,
how I'm
so you
looking
have
at
to
it,
be careful.
Paulette, is, a realtor says, you're having a discussion, and I'm not saying this is happening, this is
Okay.
just in my, hypothetical situation. A realtor says, to a homeowner, well, you know what, this is the price, that you're gonna pay for this, but, now I'm gonna advise you on how to go about, lowering your tax burden by, doing this appeal. We've got people on the board, again, I'm not accusing you of anything, that we have people on the board, and, you might have a good shot at, being able to lower your tax burden, and that's like the impetus for an actual sale, right? So that seems to me like there's a conflict of interest. I mean, that seems like the same thing could happen if there was a zoning, someone, a realtor who was on the zoning board, and that same kind of scenario, oh, we'll get that through, because we've got, the board. So that's all, that's what, when I thought about it more, that's kind of like the, I mean, I hate to say that that's, like where my mind's going, and I'm not.
But
I'm
that
not,
scenario, I've
Never
never heard that ever
It would
happen.
never
I
happen.
never
No,
had that
I would
happen.
never
I mean,
say
I don't
that
know, I
to
can't
a-
say it would never happen,
Never.
happen to me.
Because
I
you're
guess it
not
could
gonna
happen.
guarantee ever,
They
you're
would
never
sue
gonna
us
promise
for
that to a buyer,
incorrect
like,
information.
I would never promise that.
Mm-mm.
Somebody might, I can't say it would never happen. So, yeah, I agree with you. There are conflicts of interest sometimes. Like, for example, when someone who works very closely with the selectmen in his office gets put on the board, and then reports back to him about what goes on, and then comes back to us and says they're mad because you gave away too much money. I would say that's a conflict, wouldn't you?
I was elected. Now to a
So
seller,
you were
you
put
know,
on it first, then you were elected. You were put on by Mike when we
That's
had too many appeals.
Or the
That's how it started.
RTM, the RTM did it.
Who suggested it?
RTM did it, I don't know.
All right, I just,
Yeah.
But I agree.
I think those are things
I can
that,
see where those
you
things
know.
would be a
Yeah, I
conflict.
think the realtors meeting, because there were, all three of you were there, you were technically a quorum of the board.
Talking about the board, not talking
I
about
don't know, it's
anything
just
on the
tricky.
board.
It's tricky.
It's not tricky, you make more of it than it is. It's one thing to say, if we were talking about appeals and the board business, and that's different.
It's kind of the business
We're
of the
telling
board,
you-
I don't know.
I don't know, that was.
If there was
that would
two
be a
of
good
you, it wouldn't have been a big deal, and you can meet, the three of you can meet in a caucus, because you're all in the Republican Party, so you can meet together, you just can't meet with other people, because then you're a quorum of the board. So if it's the board's business, I mean, it's just a little tricky.
Look into that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Who
and
would
someone,
check
you know,
with?
someone could
The
just,
town attorney.
yeah, the town attorney or, you know, an FOI, they may just say, you know,
I mean.
Oh, my friend at the FOA, Russell.
You bring up a valid point, and it's worth, you know, looking
Because
into the
looking
rules
into-
on that.
I think it's the business of the board, you know, about the business of the
I mean,
board.
I never thought of
don't
it
know.
like
Yeah,
that.
me neither.
It
That's 'cause
was
we're not
trying to be
suspicious.
helpful and spread the news.
Yeah.
How do
I
you
totally,
make a
exactly, and
deal?
that's what,
Because people don't get it.
and often we
How
do
many
so
times
much
have
of
we
that.
You know,
repeated it?
it's-
A million times.
Here's the thing too, there is something in the town charter that says that, I can't remember exactly what it is, I don't think I have it on my phone, I have it in writing on that little thing I carry around, but I didn't bring it with me. I don't remember, I have to look up the statute, oh, no, it's in the board, where is it, no, it's in the charter, it's not the statute. And it talks about that when you're elected member in Fairfield, or one other town, but in Fairfield, your responsibility is to the people that elected you, it says it right there, the taxpayer. So in some ways, you're asking us not to help the taxpayer because you think it's a conflict of interest. But the town charter says you're supposed to be looking out for them, working for them, doing this for them. I wish I could remember what it is. I'm not gonna take the time to go through my phone and find it, but I can find it.
I think it's
So
all,
it's kind
it's
of a-
all of them, we work for all of them, but you can't do something for one that you can't do for the others. They can't get, they can't be given a
Okay.
benefit that isn't available
Then-
to everybody
then
else.
how
Like I
about
said,
this?
20,000 of them,
Yeah,
we're not gonna
point.
help 20,000 of
You have
them.
a point, but
you know.
20,000 don't come. What if we helped everybody that came?
I don't know, maybe they'll all come if we knew we were gonna help them, I'm just saying, you know, that's part of it, you can't do things for somebody. If we want something done for them, we ask the assessor's office to go out and take a look, and then if we don't like it, or they send us pictures, like using the assessor's office, which is supposedly a neutral party, to go and go
But we
Karen,
know
go
they're
in the
not.
house.
Measure the house, they have to.
We hope that
They
they
have to
are.
do it.
They do that,
But Kevin,
they will come back and
They
report
can't
to
be
us.
neutral,
Okay.
just like we can't sort of be.
But they're not on the board, they're not elected like we
No,
are.
but that's worse, because they're employed by the town. Ross's job is to bring that grand list up, make money for the
That's kind
town.
of not his job. His
It is
job
his
is to
job.
make all the, like, all the
That's part of
property
his job.
values, not equal, but you know what I'm saying, have everybody on the equal playing.
But part of his job is,
That's his
if
job.
there's a way to bring money in, he's gonna do it. Like when he changed the rule about the personal property thing, not personal property, the thing about which I agreed with, but the thing about the nonprofits. Now they have to pay tax on certain things that they didn't before. Why did he do it with a big smile on his face? He did it because it brings money into the town. That's good for him and for the town. But, okay, well, we don't have to beat a dead
No,
horse. I
those are
mean,
just a couple of the things, you know, that, and I kind of agree with Peter. I just felt like we went a little too far this year, and then just like
how did we go a little too far?
by just helping the appellants a little too much.
How did we help them a little too much?
Right, printing out, whatever, how.
Okay, so, all right.
And
so I guess-
allowing them to come back a second time, we're allowing them to change their ask amount, and then when they come in the next time.
Why
they
can't,
see what
wait,
they
wait,
might-
I have a problem with that, I have a problem with that.
People
No,
come
Why
back.
can't
allow
they change
them-
their ask amount?
We
If they
usually
come in and
allow
they
them
say-
to change it at the hearing. They're supposed to have an ask amount.
They
according
have
to
to have
the
an ask amount,
statute,
that's the law,
when they
and they do.
start. We've
Yep.
been kind and allowed them in the hearing to change their ask
Well,
amount.
why can't they change it if they decide they want to change
But
it?
now we're allowing them to change it a week later when they submit their paperwork. Now they're coming in with another dollar amount. All I'm saying is, if we do that when we have 600 of them, we're gonna be like,
Well, then we'll have a problem.
Well, it also, I mean.
and it makes it
I-
unfair to everybody else who went home and was like, shoot, I should have asked for
Right. It also
50,000
feels,
less.
it also sometimes just feels like there's coaching going on, saying, you know, you should you
Yeah,
know.
well, I did blurt out that over the
Yeah.
phone that one time.
That was funny.
But it was like, what? You pay that
I know,
much?
it's hard sometimes to bite your tongue and not tell them, you know,
I
boy,
mean,
I think you could
I-
get 100, you know, that.
I mean, at the end of the day, we didn't approve it anyway, you know?
Isn't it sad that we
So-
sit here and complain that we're helping them? It's kind of sad.
It's
I mean,
a tough thing to do. It's
But
not
there's
tough.
so
I make it
few
tough.
that we,
No,
I don't think
there's
so.
so few that we ask to, I mean, as I've done, this is my fourth term, and we've always said, you didn't give us enough, we need this from you. You can provide us this, come back, bring your
Within
information.
so much time.
And that's
Yeah, what's wrong
okay,
with
I
that?
think that's okay, I think that's being fair. I don't think it's the norm, and there's so few of the appellants that we do that with, out of the whole big group.
I know, just be
It's just
careful,
a
the other
small
ones will come
handful.
back afterwards and say.
But what's the problem with
You
giving
gave them another
like,
chance.
You could have,
They're not
but you
gonna-
didn't,
You know, you
so.
have a problem giving the taxpayer another chance. You have no problem getting Ross in here to give a second
But the
chance.
thing is,
It's not fair. If you wanna be
they
fair, you have to
gave
give
the
everybody.
complete package, we didn't say you have something missing. If we feel like you have something missing, you go get it and bring it to us, then, you know, I don't have a problem with asking people to do that. And we do it for so few appellants, I don't think it's gonna become a problem. And if it does become a problem, then we'll address it. But it's not a problem right now, at least in my opinion.
So if somebody were to call up and say, or somebody would say to you outside of the meeting, say you met somebody in the grocery store, you know, says, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing my tax appeal, okay, well, that's good. So, you know, I have all this water on my property, I don't know what to do, you know, what should I do? Like, should I go to conservation? Like, you don't want them to have any help. You don't wanna be able to say to them, start a conservation and see what they say and go from there. That's just directing them how to get started. I'm not telling them that they're gonna get it one, I'm not telling them that conservation are gonna give them what they want. I'm just saying, you gotta start somewhere. Go start a conservation, and then maybe they can direct you to go somewhere else. You're saying you don't want us to say that.
To get, to argue their
To get
assessment?
information for their appeal.
Yeah, I think it's important that they go research the maps and have conversations with
Okay.
conservation about how wet their property is and so
But
that
if they didn't know to do it on their
understand
own,
it.
are you saying that it's wrong for us to say,
No, I would just,
So start
I would
there.
probably say more in I would say things in generalities. Like in general, if, you know, people have, water issues, significant flooding issues on their property, you know, the best place to start is by calling, going to the conservation and they're very nice in there. They'll pull up the maps for you or zoning, you know, they'll pull the maps up for you. They'll help you get more information. You can become better informed about your property. And the same with the sales. Like, you know, I would tell people, the assessor's office keeps track of all of the sales. Yes, they're in vision on that thing, but yeah, the right neighborhood code. It's not that easy to work with the data, the sales that are in vision, right? They're there, but they're not that easy to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Give the public an Excel spreadsheet, then you can go and sort it and all that. You know, we have plenty of super intelligent people in town who are very good at doing Excel and SPSS and all kinds of analysis on the data. We just got to, you know, but I feel like it, you know, here's the data. You know, this is what, you know, this is how neighborhood codes work, here's the maps, you can understand them. Doesn't necessarily, just as it's got a name, university, doesn't mean you live in the university. You know, educating them about how things work, it's just trying to help them specifically with their property, just, you know, getting the comps or, you know, or we do it in a video or we do it in a document, and then it is just as, what advice we're giving is just as accessible to any other member of the public who wants that information. And I've said that several times. Videos and that kind of stuff would be great, and updating our documentation, how to make a good appeal. Like, you know, here's an example of a good one. Here's an example of a bad one. And, you know, then anybody who wants to know can come up to speed without, you know, either having a personal conversation with Ross or it goes across 169, every town does, you know, everyone's doing it. You would think that it would be more standardized or at the state level. And, you know, the BAA group too is like, come on guys, it's no different. And most of them all use the same software. A field card's a field card. It tracks the data the same damn way with tables and stuff. It's frustrating for me that everybody tries to invent the wheel.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are still confused by it.
I know.
If you
It's
call
very frustrating.
if you call the assessor's office, let's just say, you know, like your example about the water on their property, I mean, will the assessor's office tell them to contact you know, if they have
I don't
questions
know.
about the water on you know, the property, because I mean, it seems reasonable that they do, just say, listen, if you got a question about it, and, you know, you should contact the assessor's office. I mean, the conservation.
I don't know, I mean, you could try, I don't know, I don't know, I've never had to call them for that, so I don't really know what would happen if you did, because I don't need to call them, I know where to go, so.
Yeah, I know that some of them are very helpful with like the personal property, you know, people will come and say, oh, Paula sat down with me, she really explained to me how it worked, she went through my forms with me, helped me understand that. I think sometimes too, if they go out to the house, you know, Karen would be, or Paula would go out and, you know, talk to the appellants, help them understand how the measurements work. Maybe we have the problems with the staircases and people are measuring the square footage all differently and it's all, you know, but in general, they're in the service. They're on the service business in there. They should be helping, you know, people understand it. And I just think we just have to be careful, that's all.
Okay, so we're going to disclose relationships. We're not gonna help them with their appeal.
No, that's fine.
Well, no, we're gonna disclose, that's what we said.
We inform them and help them,
We're not gonna pull
help
comp, I
them
guess. We're not gonna give them.
I would not, if, as a broker, I would not be I would not be pulling.
I guess you want me to admit that I did it since you already
I
decided
don't
that
know,
I did.
I don't know.
You did, you already accused me twice, and you know what? I'm really sick and tired of you two accusing me of stuff that isn't true. Last year it was something else. You made me get a freaking printout from Matt Decker when I told you the truth, because you didn't believe me. There was no reason for that, and it is true. Thank you. Yeah, because I'm not trustworthy, but definitely your character is far better. Hardly. Okay, anything else from you two? No? Okay, well, thanks for bringing those up, because I wasn't aggravated enough before I got here.
I mean, any other goods or bads from this process this year? How do you think it went? Did we use our time wisely?
Yeah.
I guess.
I still don't love requiring everybody to sit through the hearings.
Oh, yeah, I think,
I really
you're
don't
right.
like that.
I think we
But
need to
that's
make that
just me.
change. That was never,
What do you say?
I think
For the
she's right, we
hearings,
talked about this.
to sit as a board, listening to
Oh, to all
every
of them.
hearing.
Yeah.
Rather than
Especially
when I
we're
first
gonna-
started,
Yeah.
I got a handful,
Yeah.
and then I would present that handful
Yeah.
to everybody else.
Yeah, that was
just
the
found
process that I was always used to.
Really a lot of work
Yeah.
in the month of March.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work, and I didn't expect that.
Right. It's not gonna be possible. I mean, it's not possible.
We'll have one more year where we can
Yeah.
do it, and then it's done.
Well, we don't have to even do it one more year. I mean, that was, Brenda suggested, asked that we do it, to try it. We did it twice.
Well, it was a good year to do it.
It was a good year to
because
do
there
it.
wasn't that many.
Wasn't that many.
Yeah, I
But,
know.
and she had made a
I
comment.
think
about-
next year,
We did it
I
last
think we're
year,
gonna have a
too.
lot of appeals next year.
No, we
But
won't.
most of them will not be granted. No, we'll have the appeals because people will be like, what?
No, in 2
In
years.
2 years.
Yeah,
Not next
you're
year,
right.
not
And
next
they'll be like,
Next year will be quiet, too.
Next year will be quiet, yep,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah,
we
so I
can
mean,
go
you don't
back
have
to-
to come, I just think,
No, we can go back to one-on-ones, that's fine.
yeah, or 3 people, I mean, you can't stop any one of us from coming to a hearing, I mean,
let's cross that bridge. when-
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
we'll see how many we have next year. I mean, we should have,
How dare you stop me from,
it's mostly
I
the
think all
personal
my-
properties and those
I'm
are the.
I'm surprised there weren't more
Hearings.
this year. I'm really surprised.
I thought there would be too.
Surprised there weren't more this
Just
year.
real quick, I just wanted to
Personal
point out.
properties were the most, right? I mean,
No,
that's what we're gonna
right?
get, that's the majority of them, and they're,
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out something about personal property, and, maybe this will help some people in the room understand why I get impatient with the assessor, and why I question him, and why I sometimes don't have the best relationship with him. I questioned him the last meeting we had, and he never answered the question, and that would kill me more, that annoys me more than anything else. I asked him more than once, is there a statute that refers to that? Well, no, not really, but yeah, sort of, it's cited, where's it cited? Never told me, just kept talking around in a circle, which he's very good at. There is a statute, and it can be found. I checked with this Mary. She was able to explain the whole thing to me, and how they do it, and how it's done. Maybe he does it this way, but he didn't explain it to us. Is that when the thing about the rental of the equipment, that was what it was about. What they do there, and she's in New London, what they do is, or Groton rather, it's only for so many months prior to October 1st that you can do it. It's not for the whole year. And you don't have to do it. And you're supposed to check and make sure that the town where the business is actually located isn't doing it. during that time, because you can only tax somebody once.
Right.
So there was a whole thing he could have explained to us that might have been helpful, but he didn't bother.
So explain that again, so
Let me see.
October 1 is the date, right? That's-
October 1 is the new,
Is it, you have to, yeah, the filing ends, so whatever you have as of October
Yep.
1st.
so if a company like that company had CPAP machines in Fairfield at people's houses for July, August, and September, then technically Ross could tax them for having those things, because they're being used in Fairfield.
Mm-hmm.
But if the company is in Norwalk, and Norwalk is taxing them for those months, then we can't. And I'm sure he knows that. So he probably is doing that right. I wouldn't think that he'd double tax, and the company would ever pay it. But it would have been nice to hear from him how it was, and not just, yeah, well, there's no real statute, when there is. And well, it's cited, but similar to, and now I can see your frustration with that other thing that happened, where he really won't answer the question about those, site values in the beach area. Now I can see why you were annoyed, and I was annoyed too, but I just let it go, because it was like, well, whatever, he seems to know it. But that's what upset me, and that always upsets me when I have to deal with people that don't answer the question. So there was, that's just the information.
And I would just say the appellants, in that case, right, isn't it, incumbent upon the appellant to say, well, look, you're
You're
taxing
yeah,
me, but I'm
exactly,
already
yeah.
paying taxes here in
Yeah.
Norwalk, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and that particular one, I think, they weren't responding to, to requests for information, so.
The other thing is they,
Yeah, probably right.
That was a hard one.
they,
That isn't a bear.
and I don't know that we do
A
this.
lot of wasted time.
And I don't know that we do this, but she was telling me that where they are, they have somebody in their office who's specially trained to do commercial kinds of things like that with heavy equipment, like in new construction. Say they were building, like the building they're building by the Parkway, that building there.
Mm-hmm.
The equipment that's being used on that site, cranes, diggers, anything like that, tools, toolboxes, tools, they have somebody specially trained in all kinds of occupational safety to go there and do it all.
In the assessor's office.
In the assessor's office.
Interesting.
And they do make money doing that.
Huh.
I don't know if Ross does it. What they don't bother with is little piddly stuff like we were fighting over.
Yeah.
Said it's not worth their time.
CPAP machines.
But they do, that was pretty interesting that they have somebody that will go out and do that, so.
Well, we have a lot of new
Yeah, I know
construction going on
Karen's
in
taken
our
over
town.
personal property, but I don't know that she's,
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if
guess the woman, they
she's
go through a lot of training.
yeah.
She has to go on the job site with a safety vest, a hard hat, boots, the whole bit.
Wow.
Almost like an auditor, but it was pretty interesting.
Wow.
So, all right, so I'll call Mary and, I'll call the town attorney.
Uncovered money somewhere.
Yeah.
With all the cranes and tractors coming to this town.
I mean, we don't at least have, but we don't have
Exactly.
construction storage here, I guess, right? Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
that stuff is stored on the site, like when they bring that equipment in to do big projects like that, that equipment.
Oh, you're saying they have to pay taxes on it when it's here?
Yeah, when it's here, oh yeah, they have to pay
Yeah,
taxes on that equipment.
I guess, yeah, if you lease a dumpster,
Yep.
whatever,
So,
trailer,
pretty good, yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So-
Wow.
Okay, so I think that's it for now then. So we meet again in September.
gonna say, let's just say the date and time in the record.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody
I don't
has it in
remember.
their phone. I know it's in September.
I know I
think
have
we
it in my
made
phone, but I don't
a
remember.
little later than normal.
Yeah, we made it a little bit later. It was too close to Labor Day.
Mhm. Let's see.
I have it, BAA meeting, Tuesday the 10th.
I did not put it on mine, so
What,
thank you.
what,
I have
September
5 to
10th, what do you have, 5 o'clock?
Actually, I took my glasses
September
off.
10th.
It should be on the town clerk's
5 to
calendar.
7.
September 10th, I have
Yep.
5 p.m.
September 10th, 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
I hate to bring this up, but the other thing is, just so we can think about it, I guess it's better to do it now. It won't take long. You know how we can have extra people on the board during assessment years? Which we've always done. There's always been people appointed to the board. And if you look at the state statute, or in that section, it'll tell you that it's only for that year and the following year if you still have a lot of appeals.
Right.
The year of the reval,
Yeah, like the first year that people only had the 600 appeals.
I see.
So probably the next year you're gonna get like 300 or 200. So the people that were picked for the assessment year when they first come in, they could do it again if you wanted them to, or you pick different ones, but you're allowed to pick people. I guess as many people as you need, so many from each party, but a certain number that you think you might need has to be done by a certain time in the year, I believe that's December, might be December 1st.
It's early.
It's way earlier than you would think it has to be,
Yeah.
but it has to be done. But, and that's all I thought we could do. And we have a problem here because we have only 5 people, and we have no alternates, and if somebody gets sick, or has an accident, or has to resign, we have no help. Then we're back to an even number of people on the board, which is not good. So, I found, though, that there is a statute,
You're like the statue uncoverer.
because I'm not working full-time,
Statute
so I have to
whisperer.
find something to do. So, send the statute was read. Section 9-199, the Connecticut General Statute.
Are you making up that number, or is
No,
this
it's
the
9,
number?
that's why you probably
What is
wouldn't find it,
Nine
because
dash 199?
9-199, you probably wouldn't find it because we never look at those numbers.
No,
That's not, it's usually
that's not
12
a
dash something that we look at. Chapter 12, section whatever.
All
This
right,
one's from
9
chapter 9. I just pulled it up by CGS 9-199 to look at it. I didn't find it myself. I got it from Mary, who said that you can have alternates anytime you want, because for that very reason. What if somebody is sick? What if somebody dies? Well, you never know. So it's possible to have them. And I read it twice today, and it does allow you to have alternate members. Those members during the revals, those are extra. They're additional members. They're not really alternates. They're additional. Then that goes away. These people can be alternates, and they can be appointed. They don't have to be elected.
I was gonna say, do they not, they can be appointed and not elected?
Yep.
Oh.
Who appoints them?
It doesn't say. It says the municipality
The last time
appoints
you
them.
had alternates, they were
'Cause I-
appointed.
The last time we did, yes, that was an odd situation. That last time we did that.
Yeah, there is, as she said, right during the process, you can, for the year of and the year after, you can appoint up to 4, however many.
But then, we did, it was
The alternate one, I had not heard
It
of.
would be nice that would be
And
nice.
I thought you would have to have those people be elected just like.
I thought so, too.
CPZ alternates,
I thought so
right?
too, that it would be like,
CPA
and they get elected, the ones that are alternates, and I thought
Yeah.
that that's what we'd have to do, that we'd have to elect them. And there's no election this coming year,
No,
yeah,
you
there
have
is, but
to
it'd be
have
after it.
change.
So I thought, well, geez, it'd be nice if we could have, go into next year's session, knowing that if somebody couldn't make it, we could have an alternate, so we'd still have the same number of people.
So they start to get trained for the year after.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
but it could be someone that already
It's already,
served
we
on
already
the
used.
board.
That would be
That
nice.
would
That's
be
true.
ideal.
So, I spoke to,
Katie coming back?
if I dragged her here with probably a hook, a chain around her neck maybe, but I think as an alternate she would. She doesn't really have the time to do it full time, she's busy with kids. She's got a big family commitment, so that's why she can't do it, but alternate, I think she could do. And she's available during the day, so if we had day hearings, that's what we used her for last time, came back.
Yeah.
So that would be good, but, yeah, read that statute. I, talked to the chief of staff at the selectman's office to ask if we could do that. We could look into that. And she agreed that it would be a good thing to do, since other boards have alternates, why shouldn't we? So she was gonna talk to the attorney and get back to me. I gave her that statute to look at, to see if we could maybe get some people appointed. I don't think we need many.
Do you think for next year?
Yeah, I'd like to have them for next year, because this way, like, if somebody can't be here. Like, I'm not trying to be a martyr or anything, but the first, was it in 2022, March of 2022, I basically just got out of the hospital 2 days before that, after having major heart surgery. And I had to do that because we didn't have enough people. So it's like, what is that? And I almost resigned from the board because I wasn't sure I was gonna make it to a surgery. So I was like, well, is it really fair knowing I'm this sick to go in there? Then I thought, well, everybody says I'll be all right, so maybe I will. I figured Julian can handle it if I didn't make it. So.
You were not only a board, you were the chair.
I know, but that's what I thought, I'll link to it. Anyway, so I think it would be nice, like, if somebody really did have a problem, whatever, family problem, health problem, whatever, had to resign for a reason, that we have, so.
I mean, other boards have alternates, they're
Right,
elected.
all the other boards have it, so why shouldn't we have it?
Right.
Yeah, they're elected, and maybe the town will choose to do that, or they don't have to. Maybe they would choose to do it on an election year, but at least we could have some people.
But if we all agreed to the person,
You'd probably have better
I don't
luck
know.
appointing them.
We would have better luck appointing, yes, I think we would
No
have
one
better luck
wants to
appointing.
run for
Yeah, people don't wanna run for this so
I
much. Yeah, we don't get to choose, we just make a recommendation, is how it really works. And then, like Kathleen mentioned before, the, RTM makes a decision. The Board of Selectmen, I think, is involved in it too. I know I have to-
Not for the two that we get, not for the ones that we get, during the reval. Those are solely RTM.
Okay,
It's one of
I
the
had
very
to be
beginning.
interviewed by the board, it was
Yeah.
Brenda and a couple other people, maybe she was at that meeting, I don't know, but,
She wanted,
I don't remember.
she has the right, just like
Okay, so
you,
maybe that's
just
what it
like
was.
the chair does, or, I don't know if it's the chair of the board, to make a recommendation to the RTM.
Okay, maybe that's
So
what it
that's
was. Maybe they
probably
wanted
what
to meet
she
the
did.
people
The
they were
board of
gonna-
selectmen made a
Yeah,
recommendation.
so, yep,
But in most of them, like, they will appoint and the RTM approves. In this case, no, they recommend and the RTM, but they don't have to take anybody's recommendation, they can come up with their own,
Yeah.
for those who want. I don't know about these appointed.
so we'll have to see what, if they say yes, we'll have to see how they want us to do it. I'm sure they'll ask people on the board if they know anybody who would be good. I mean, I can't imagine them just picking somebody out of the air, that would be stupid.
Yeah, I mean, there are quite a few municipalities where the Board of Assessment Appeals is appointed, not, and some of them are paid, and some towns have paid.
Yeah, some have paid, we have not, we can't even get a pizza out of it.
Not
That's
now, you're
crazy.
definitely not even getting a drink.
He's got that food budget, and he's gonna have to start ponying up.
If you listen to the budget meetings this year, there's gonna be zero food going
Okay, well, as long as nobody's getting it, then we're okay.
Unless it comes out of your own pocket, no.
So,
But yeah, so that'd be the only thing, is that other towns have them appointed. And I actually made that recommendation during charter revision, that I just felt that it was so difficult for the parties to get people to run, and that, often the parties were just putting anybody on the ballot who'd say, yeah, I'm willing to have my name on the ballot, as opposed to really, getting people who, like, have some knowledge of the, what goes on, right? It's better, the process works better, it's better for the
easier, it's better for the
public.
appellate, yeah.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, so I think,
a lot of other
we'll
boards.
see what
But
they
anyway,
say.
that didn't happen.
Well, we'll see what she says, because she sounded pretty positive about it, just want to run by these, because it's in the statute, so there's no reason why we can't do it.
Okay.
Which, with my usually charming personality, I would have no problem challenging them if they said no, because it's a statute, therefore we have the right to it. But we'll see what happens, so I guess we can start thinking about, is there anybody we might, I don't think we don't need 100 people, we just need probably one from each party, just to be fair. Just so that if, Peter wasn't here, we could call the Democrat first and say, can they be here? If not, we'll have to take the Republican, but we could, we could just alternate them even, but just so we have two people that we can count on. 'Cause nobody, I don't think we get that, people usually don't get that, but you never know, so. Everybody's been good about being here, just because it'll take some of the
Yeah,
pressure
quorum
off.
is 3 with an elected board of 5.
Yeah.
And we don't, I guess the statute doesn't require us to obviously have a quorum for the hearings, it's just for the.
No, you can do those one-on-one, so. Yeah, so I think we'll see what they say, but if you could think of anybody, Katie would be a good one. I mean, it's your, be your decision, but I think that Katie's good, because I like Katie. I think she's really smart, I think she's fair. And she was the board chair for how many years?
She was great.
And she ran the board really well.
Yeah, she was
when
like, a timer going,
Yeah.
like, okay.
And she was really good, I mean, she ran the board really well. So, if she were to come back, I'd say you can have it, I don't want it. I'd say you take it, because she's,
She was good.
so, but, yeah, so let's think about that. If you think of anybody, let me know. I don't know who we're gonna get.
My experience is less than you guys.
All right, so.
Okay, so I think that's it. Anybody else have anything else? I think that was the last thing on the agenda. Pretty sure it
No,
was.
I don't think so.
Well-
I'm trying to think. Thank you for getting all the minutes done. I appreciate that we
Oh, yeah, listen, I'm glad,
put
thank
time
you for
aside
getting
to
it
get
done.
them done and out of the way,
Yeah.
so we're not doing them all in September.
Yes, thank you, thanks for doing that, because I'm sure that was a big, and by the way, I hope
Fun,
that,
but whatever.
I think we're gonna have to, if you need help with it, I mean, I'll do it, if you want me to, talk to Ross about what we're gonna do for next year. Unless you wanna continue to do it, I don't really think it's fair that you're doing it uncompensated, and that you have to do it at all when you're trying to decide. I just don't think it's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
I hear you, it's just,
I don't think it's right.
it's not bad, but there's no way it can possibly
You
be,
can't keep doing it.
not when there's a big revale.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Next year, if
that.
it, whatever, I got a system down, it's,
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I have nothing else. If anybody else, thank you, Peter and Kathleen, for your honesty, even though I wasn't pleased with the
I know,
conversation, but-
it's, hard conversations are never
But thank
easy,
you for,
right? That's why they're called
for having
hard
the courage to bring it
conversations.
up. We'll see what we can do to work on that, and, that's it. So, all in favor, I make a motion, we
All here
adjourn.
for
All
the
in
right
favor?
reasons.
Aye.
Aye, and it is, 7:25.